This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. There was nothing here, no choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. but it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of or it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer to ensure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Ah bah oui, je suis un génie. J'avais pas remis mon... Ah là là, je suis un génie. Le plus grand génie de tous. Je n'avais donc pas mis mon micro. Ah là là, c'est... Mais quel génie je fais. Ah... Et fait chier, le jeu a planté, t'es sérieux. Non, ça va. Ok. Je suis un génie. Je n'avais... Mon micro était mute, je suis désolé, donc du coup, salut Driss, salut Flair, hi Shira. My microphone was mute. Anyway, I had to show that. The best part of the game, the closet. The broom closet.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Désolé Flair. Mais tu vois, c'était pour plus de réalisme.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Ah, ce jeu. Ce jeu fantastique. Ouais, par contre, mes temps de chargement sont un peu lents, hein, fait chier. Je crois que mon PC se fait vieux. C'est un peu chiant. Ah, pardon, je suis désolé. Putain, en plus, ça me fait un mal de crâne quand je tousse. Ah, j'ai horreur des jours comme ça.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Oh.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life.
Ah, si quelqu'un se souvient, on est le combien, nous? Je crois qu'on est 500 quelque chose.
Employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so
Normalement,
many
on est
individuals reduced
586,
to
je sais plus.
images of green. And
En plus, on peut
Stanley,
voir
one
notre,
of them,
notre écran quelque part.
eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ah, ce jeu fantastique.
This
C'est vrai qu'on est par
mind
là-bas en plus.
control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable.
Ah, ce
Wasn't it?
narrateur.
Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. As the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of a new path before him. This was exactly the way right now that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Well, thank you everybody for watching. Woo! That was super stream. Goodbye. Okay, bye Shuriken, no problem. No, of course it's not. On était... Ah, le 427. Of course, it's not the end of the game. There's way
All of
much
his
to see.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Bon, on va essayer
Stanley
de
decided
trigger...
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
Je
simply
vous
missed
garantis
a
pas qu'on y
memo.
arrive.
No
On
matter
va
how
essayer de
hard
trigger
Stanley
cette
looked,
fameuse...
he couldn't find a trace of his
Quoique
co-workers.
non, c'est pas comme ça qu'on trigger cette... Comment est-ce qu'on trigger cette foutue ending? J'avoue que ça je sais pas. Attendez, on va essayer. Ou est-ce que c'est durant un événement spécial qu'on peut la trigger? Je sais pas. Drist, est-ce que t'es là? Comme ça tu peux vérifier un truc pour moi. Ah, attends, c'est... Est-ce que ce serait comme ça qu'on peut la trigger? Ah ah! Ah, on y est presque. Ah ah! J'y arrivé, j'y arrivé. Et voilà. Le out of bounds.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No.
Ah, then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? You never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in mod forever and ever. Cheers.
Ah, il me semblait qu'il y avait un peu de musique. Alors, est-ce qu'on restart le jeu ou est-ce qu'on attend? À savoir que si on attend, il y a une autre fin. C'est-à-dire que si on attend un certain moment, il va nous reparler de nouveau. Par contre, je sais pas combien de temps ça dure qu'il faut attendre. You choose. Envoyez un ou deux. J'aurais une préférence à attendre. Envoyez un ou deux par SMS pour voter, vous aussi. Bon bah c'est parti pour attendre. Alors du coup, qui a une petite histoire drôle à raconter en attendant? Puis qu'on est parti pour attendre et dire de la merde. Petite histoire drôle à la con. Bien entendu, toutes ces fins à la con, il faut attendre, on va pas les faire toutes, hein, parce que il y en a des, il faut tenir des heures à faire un truc pour que t'aies la fin. Et j'ai pas la foi d'attendre des heures pour genre faire le truc du bébé, hein. Pendant ce temps, je vais chercher des histoires des blagues à la con. Tiens, vas-y. On ne rentre jamais par la deuxième cabine la première fois. Ok, j'ai une devinette à la con. Quelle est la différence entre un rouquin et un requin? Ah, c'est vraiment de la merde. Oh, c'est vraiment nul à chier. Non, jamais par la deuxième cabine la première fois. Ah oui, Kingsman. Ouais, ouais, ouais. C'est à ses manières que l'on juge un homme. Non, mais c'est nul, putain. Mais c'est genre. Comment Pinocchio s'est aperçu qu'il était en bois? Lorsqu'il s'est masturbé, il a failli prendre le feu. Prendre feu. Comment appelle-t-on un dinosaure PD? Un tripotanus. Tripotanus. Voilà, voilà. Pourquoi les schtroumpfs rigolent tout le temps? Parce que l'herbe leur chatouille les couilles. Mais c'est vraiment nul à chier. Oh, il y en a une sur Gilbert Montagnier, tiens. Pourquoi Gilbert Montagnier se balance-t-il lorsqu'il chante? D'accord. Celle-là, elle est pas trop mal. Elle est pas trop mal. Du coup, pourquoi pourquoi Gilbert Montagnier se balance-t-il lorsqu'il chante? Ça va, celle-là, je l'aime bien encore. Discord s'est arrêté. Ah putain, cette application de merde. Sur le téléphone, du coup. J'aurais dû mettre un timer, c'est pour voir ça fait combien de temps qu'on attend. Prochaine fois qu'il y a un truc comme ça, si on le fait, je mets un timer. Alors, la réponse, c'est pour être sûr qu'il passe au moins une fois devant le micro. Que fait Bernadette Chirac avec ses vieilles rogues? Elle les met. J'ai pas compris. Alors, il y en a une sur Michael Jackson, c'est moche. Quelle est la différence entre un sac de supermarché et Michael Jackson? L'un est blanc, en plastique et dangereux pour les enfants, l'autre sert à ramener les courses. C'est très moche. Quelle est la différence entre un curé et un arbre de Noël? Aucune. Les boules servent pour décorer. Ah, c'est ça. Attends, 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 il y en a une sur Jésus. Il y en a une sur Jésus. Quelles ont été les dernières paroles du Christ? Avant je croyais, maintenant je suis fixé. C'est nul à chier. Attends. Quel est le gars le plus populaire dans un camp de nudistes? Celui qui peut tenir une tasse de café dans chaque main et transporter en même temps une douzaine de beignets. Qu'est-ce qui est dur, blanc, avec le bout tout rouge et qui sent la pisse? Une borne kilométrique. Et ça, c'est vrai. Tellement ce genre de choses, t'as tout le monde qui pisse dessus. J'avoue, celle-là, je l'aime bien. Quelle est la différence entre un caniche qui te pisse dessus et un pitbull qui te pisse dessus? Le pitbull, tu le laisses finir. Non, mais non! Oh non! Oh non, il y en a une raciste. Driss, je suis désolé, elle est tellement raciste, mais elle est pas mal. Quelle est la différence entre un noir et un pneu? Le pneu, quand on lui met des chaînes, il chante pas du blues. Écoute, j'ai mal à la tête à chaque fois que je tousse. J'ai une tonne de vaisselle et de bordel à ranger, mais sinon, ouais, ça va. Et toi? Non, ça se peut pas, c'est sur le pneu, mais j'avoue, je l'aime bien. Quelle est la différence entre Lady Di et Jeanne Calment? Jeanne Calment est morte à 120, Lady Di à 180. Bah, c'était nul. Quelle est la différence entre le chocolat et le travail? Le chocolat constipe et le travail fait chier. C'est vrai. Je savais pas par contre le chocolat te constipe. Ah ouais, par contre, ça va être chiant du coup. Tu sais quoi, Driss, attends, je te mets modo. Je vais te mettre modo parce que sinon je vais pas pouvoir accéder les commentaires. Donc voilà, tu as officiellement été mis en tant que modo. Bravo, félicitations. Parce que le problème c'est qu'après, si je dois accepter les commentaires qui peuvent être jugés par YouTube comme inappropriés, ben je dois quitter le jeu à chaque fois et ça va être chiant. Alors, je sais pas si je l'ai dit celle-là. Euh, Quel est le plus petit paradis du monde? Le soutien-gorge car il n'y a que deux seins. Il y en a une, elle est tellement nulle à chier, je suis obligé de la faire. Un long sous-titré. C'est tellement nul à chier que je dois la faire. Connaissez-vous l'histoire du gars qui avait 5 pénis? Son pantalon lui allait comme un gant. Non, mais ça c'est raciste, ça se fait pas. Non, mais ça se fait pas, celle-là, c'est tellement raciste. Savez-vous ce qui est le plus difficile lors d'un accouchement chez les gitans? Faire sortir la guitare. Ça se fait pas, putain. Putain, le coup du gitan, ça se fait pas. Ah, mais non. Bon, c'est quand tu veux le narrateur, hein. Oh putain, j'en ai une pour Sam là, j'en ai une pour Sam. Comment reconnaît-on un luxembourgeois dans un sous-marin? C'est le seul qui a un parachute. Et comment reconnaît-on un juif dans le même sous-marin? C'est lui qui a vendu le parachute. Non, mais Shira, elle est plus là. Oh non, oh non, oh non, non, celle-là, je veux pas. Pourquoi les jeunes Siciliens aiment avoir de la moustache? Pour ressembler à leur maman. Putain. Pourquoi est-ce que Dieu a inventé l'alcool? Il faut bien que les moches baisent aussi. Putain. Comment s'est formé le Grand Canyon? Un cœur de touriste juif a perdu une pièce de 5 francs. Ça se fait pas. Quel est le meilleur moyen inventé par les Égyptiens pour éviter que les Juifs n'atteignent le Caire? Une autoroute à péage. Ah non, 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 non. C'est misogyne celle-là. C'est très misogyne. Mesdames, si vous regardez cette rediffusion, euh, je n'approuve pas les propos qui vont être tenus. Pourquoi les femmes ont-elles deux paires de lèvres? Une pour dire des conneries et l'autre pour se faire pardonner. Ça se fait pas. Ah oui, oui. Oh non! Pourquoi les témoins de Jéhovah ne vont pas au paradis? Parce qu'ils ont beau sonner, personne ne leur ouvre la porte. Comment dit-on Jéhovah en japonais? Ding dong. Il y a Dorothée, Hélène et Chantal Goya sur un bateau. Ce bateau coule. Qui est sauvé? La chanson française. Ouais, non, mais c'est... Tu peux regarder sur internet, ça prend combien de temps pour trigger cette ending, parce que j'avoue que là, je commence à trouver le temps long. On va éviter de faire ces endings, hein. Pendant l'instant, je vais continuer de raconter des trucs à la con. Alors, pourquoi y a-t-il de moins en moins de femmes qui portent des manteaux de cuir? Parce qu'elles se sont aperçues que ça ne servait à rien d'enlever la peau sur une vache et de la mettre sur une autre. Oh, ça parle mal. Quelle est la différence entre Dash et un commissariat de police? Dans Dash, il y a au moins 3 agents actifs. Non, ça se fait pas. Savez-vous la différence entre un terroriste et une femme qui a ses règles? Avec le terroriste, on peut négocier. Allez, une dernière pour la route. Pourquoi les hippopotames font-ils l'amour dans l'eau? T'as déjà essayé de faire mouiller un citron de 8 kilos, toi? Putain. Aïe aïe aïe. Bon, ça prend combien de temps pour la trigger cette énigme là? Attends, je vais regarder. The Stanley Parable dit O Bending. Choisis yes. Je peux pas choisir yes. Ouais, mais au bout de combien? Parce que je sais qu'au bout d'un certain, je sais qu'au bout d'un certain temps, en fait, si tu attends trop, il va te faire chier après. Il va venir en mode, ah, t'es toujours là? Bon. Est-ce qu'on s'en bat les couilles au pire? Parce que le morceau de guitare, c'est en choisissant yes, en fait. Reflair. T'as raté toutes les blagues, toutes les devinettes à la con. C'est dommage. Bon, tu sais quoi, attends, on va la retrigger, mais cette fois-ci, on va dire yes, comme ça, on a le petit morceau de guitare. Mais parce que j'en ai marre d'attendre pour rien, parce que...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Ouais, en fait, ça peut durer
Stanley
un
decided
moment.
to go
Hein,
to the
donc,
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
alors,
missed a memo.
tac.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Et c'est bon. Voilà.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Yes.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
Un peu de musique. Ah.
There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Yes. You too will become quite unbearable.
Oh, merci. Bon, bref. Hein, on va aller voir les autres endings, ça va, j'ai compris. non, l'ascenseur c'est
wind
cool.
blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
The end is never, the end is never, the end is never. Bon, c'est hyper, hein. Allons trigger d'autres fins. Awaiting input. Ah. Eh, je peux faire des inputs? Attends. Fait chier. J'ai réussi à en faire un, mais j'arrive pas à faire les autres. Important. Ouais, jeu de merde là. Oh! J'ai réussi à l'éteindre. Est-ce que je peux éteindre celui-là aussi? Ah ouais. Bon. C'est pas tout, hein, mais on a d'autres choses à aller voir. I hate Mondays. I hate Mondays too.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
His left.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Vous savez tous qu'on va le
Feeling a
faire.
wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his bosses. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Bon, de toute façon, ça sert à rien de rester plus longtemps.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
D'abord, je vais aller aux toilettes. Ah, les toilettes. To be rich, is it a crime? Pay just one. Je peux pas avoir Stanley. But no! Aha! The panda! Oh, pauvre panda. Tiens, ça c'est l'icône du jeu d'ailleurs. Hein. Pour la petite anecdote. Oui, je sais. Vous le vouliez tous. Ah, ce gag ne deviendra jamais lassant. Le gag de l'ascenseur restera merveilleux à jamais.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Diagnosed.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Le gag de l'ascenseur qui ne deviendra jamais vieux. Toujours aussi bon.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Du coup, on est numéro 427.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them.
En vrai, on va pas vraiment faire ces fins-là parce qu'elles sont un petit peu chiantes.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe.
Potentiellement trouver des fois qu'on n'avait pas vu la dernière fois.
Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
Comme la OOB qu'on n'avait pas vu la dernière fois.
Was happy with his boring job, that his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable.
Never.
Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ah non, il faut quand même aller activer le truc. Très bien.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
No.
Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored buttons, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
Ew.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
Goodbye, employee.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle.
Je me demande s'il y a vraiment moyen, tu vois, de... Si tu peux vraiment faire quelque chose. Bonjour, au revoir, je suis un caméo. La seule chose que tu sais faire, c'est être un caméo. Salut, au revoir, en prélude de caméo. Et je me demande si tu peux vraiment te survivre en fait à cette phase.
Oh, don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
Non, je suis mouru. The end is never. Menos Sageli Golden. Oh, salut gros œil. Vous savez quoi? Pas aujourd'hui.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Ah putain, j'adore ce jeu.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Oh, allez, il y a encore plein de trucs à aller voir.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here.
Vous le savez, vous l'attendez.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment. No reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control. that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Aïe aïe aïe.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariella.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my
The
mind.
Mariella paradox.
I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Goodbye, Mariella. The end is never.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
C'est quoi, on va tenter l'histoire de faire rien, de ne rien faire. On va tenter de ne rien faire dans
Yet
l'autre
there
salle
was not
là-bas.
a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Mais avant, évidemment, on était obligé. Évidemment. D'accord, en fait, donc tu peux aller que... Je voulais voir si tu pouvais aller en bas, mais apparemment non. J'adore ce gag. Ah, on peut aller en bas. Ouais, bon, bah bref, d'aller en bas, ça ne change absolument rien, du coup. De toute façon, il me semble que j'avais testé la dernière fois.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Ah, j'adore ce mec. Y'a rien dans le coin, hein. Il me semble pas qu'il y avait quelque chose. pas qu'ils ont fait d'autres jeux à part The Beginner's Guide, enfin The Stein Parable, The Beginner's Guide. J'espère vraiment qu'ils vont nous faire un nouveau jeu. Parce que ces mecs ont du talent. Ils ont du talent. Bon, on va d'abord tester de ne rien faire.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
De toute façon, on ira là-bas
Facility.
aussi. Hein.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Yes, he had the strength to find out.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers,
J'adore ce
the
narrateur.
lives of
Il fait
so
un
many
excellent
individuals
boulot.
reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ah oui, non mais bien sûr, bien sûr. On fera le bébé.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the
On va
only
faire le
reason he
bébé,
was
hein. Le
happy
bébé il
with
était
his
génial,
boring
hein.
job?
C'est clair.
That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not?
Ouais, ça a pas l'air d'être différent
These are
malheureusement.
precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that
Ouais, c'est scripté. On va reset, hein, ça sert à rien. Maintenant on connaît.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
I will
Stanley
always
decided to
love
go
you,
up
broom
to his
closet.
boss's office, hoping he might find it. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door, just go.
Non, il en a marre, je pense quoi. Excellent. Allez, vas-y, on a marre maintenant, casse-toi.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although
Non,
this
je m'échapperai.
passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Je m'en fous, je m'échapperai.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Je m'en fiche. Je mourrai dignement.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this life is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
L'équivalent du musée Insomniac. It repaints Stanley's computer. Oh. Oh, le solitaire. J'ai enfin réussi une partie de solitaire en plus. IRL. Stanley Purple Credits. The Office. Non. Ça faisait donc du bruit. On est y part. Narrator's email. C'est quand même assez ouf d'avoir implémenté ça in-game quoi. C'est assez ouf. The apportment timer. Il y a vraiment plein de trucs à fouiller en fait. Ah oui non mais c'est clair, hein, le jeu est vraiment ouf quoi, c'est pour ça que j'espère vraiment qu'ils vont faire un autre jeu parce que ce jeu était génial, j'ai beaucoup aimé The Beginner's Guide aussi, qui est très différent, d'ailleurs je l'ai fait mais on le refera sûrement The Beginner's Guide aussi.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time choose.
The end is never.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Really nice place.
Truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Yeah, really nice place.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Non. Quoi que si comme ça.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Ah putain. Allez, allons chercher les vrais fins.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Or did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
The adventure, yay! Alors j'ai hâte qu'on ait la flèche à part ça. La flèche c'était génial. La flèche c'était une de mes préférées parce que ça part tellement en couille, c'est magnifique. Par là ça a l'air bien.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
Yeah. Oh, c'est la flèche. Yes.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Ah, the line.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten
La
the
musique.
mood.
An adventure.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
Oh.
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You
Remember,
won't want to miss
kids.
anything.
It's important.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No, no, no. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this... Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Ah, ça fait une partie de mes fins préférées, celle-là.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Yeah, this direction. Let's go, kiddos.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
The adventure.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Ah, putain.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
The confusion
What's this?
ending.
The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Oh fuck. Ce bruit strident d'un coup. Mon Dieu. Eh bien.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room
is
but eager
beautiful.
To get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nope.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else...
Je sais ce qu'il y a là-bas, mais après.
But the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your...
No.
Oh, no, you can't... Did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? Actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife and themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on
Ah oui, oui, ça c'est génial ça.
world. Please observe this helpful instructional
Ah ça
video.
c'est magique ça aussi.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is..." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Oh, putain de merde, c'est magique.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Ah merde.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Fish. 2 + 4 = fish. Equals.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
No. Okay, okay. I will.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
Et fichier, je voulais monter. Je suis sûr qu'il y a moyen de monter. Peut-être pas finalement.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
J'aurais peut-être arrêté de faire ça.
That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
No.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his office.
Évidemment, tu veux pas descendre en bas non plus. Et les toilettes? Non. Et le bureau a changé.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Night Shark 115, putain. Requin marteau 115. J'appuie hein, mais ça veut pas.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Je sais, hein, en tout cas le jeu le permet pas de toute manière, c'est jamais.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step. Okay, fine, you're not going to do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
It's Stanley.
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right.
Galactic Café.
I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
C'est parti pour une nouvelle fin.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make a decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
No.
She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Bon, de toute évidence, ça fait rien d'attendre, donc...
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that led in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I
J'arrive, hein. Je suis en train de regarder les trucs parce que le problème c'est que j'ai pas accès à. C'était sûrement la mention. Et. Ouais. Ok. Parce que j'ai pas dit Discord sur les yeux.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yep, very often.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, it was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in
Non,
this
s'il y avait
incredible
plus à voir
room,
parce que
Stanley,
le
for the
truc il a
first
changé.
time, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Peut-être quelque chose à regarder dans
Stanley
le.
was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha! Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
The baby one, huh?
You see?
Well,
There's
there,
nothing
you're
here.
gonna be happy.
I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Worldwide leaderboard. Ah, merde. Only the 3% of players choose the blue door. New Stanley. Merde, c'est excellent ce truc.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on.
Oh, the best game ever
Now would be
made.
a lovely opportunity to give it some play testing. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Game Flare. The best game
This
ever
game,
made.
the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Il faut savoir que si vous y jouez pendant 4 heures, enfin, if you really play this game during 4 hours, there's really something happening, but I won't be playing it during 4 hours. Yeah, you have to keep playing during 4 hours, but I won't be playing during 4 hours. You have a puppy you have to save too, not only the baby after a moment, but again, I won't be playing this shit for 4 hours. Goodbye, baby.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Putain.
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining. Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Ah merde, j'aurais dû essayer d'aller par là-bas.
Oh, no, 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 no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5.
No.
Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game. Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Yeah. Ah merde! La radio! Non! Oh vas-y, on va la prendre avec nous. Non, en fait... Putain, c'est plus simple dans Portal de la mettre dans les chiottes. De toute façon, on doit attendre normalement, non? Oh! Tan, 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 tan.
It's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty.
Hey!
I really don't care much to see you stumble through.
Nobody raised you!
And I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect video game, you can just sit there and let it ball up inside you for all eternity. I don't need your advice. I don't need your ratings. And I certainly don't need the validation of a man whose job is to push buttons. I think I'll just go about my business, making meaningful cultural contributions to the world. And perhaps every now and then I'll think back to a man named Stanley who was objectively wrong in every decision he ever made. The thought won't last long. Goodbye, Stanley. Good luck with your work. And I sincerely hope that everyone lives happily ever after.
Oh. Putain, c'est flippant cet endroit. Notre bureau. Évidemment. Y a rien à faire en fait. Tout évident, je devrais pas aller là. Oh.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Ok. We have to keep playing Portal
All
2
of his
with Manusa.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
We haven't finished
Stanley
yet, and they have
decided
to
to
do
go to the
Portal
meeting
2
room.
too.
Perhaps he had simply missed a
the
memo.
bad joke. Anyway, let's find the red door this time.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley
Yeah.
was so bad
I
at
guess.
following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Didn't have much to
Look,
say.
Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Nope.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley, oh thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The 2 of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Loading, 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 loading.
What do we want? What are we looking for?
Oh,
Here.
dead end.
Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy. No, wait. Where are you going? Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. No! Oh, no. No, no, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you? No, perhaps not. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Shut the fuck up, Rock!
All of his co-workers were gone. What did it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged with his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful. Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Driss, je te laisse afficher le message de Flair du coup parce que je peux pas le faire moi. STP, maintenant que tu es modo, t'es censé pouvoir le faire aussi. Merci. Je suis en train de réfléchir, il y a quelle fin qu'on n'a pas fait encore.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
On a tout fait, je crois, à ce stade, non?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I think we made all
Stanley
the
was so
endings,
bad at following directions,
I mean,
it's incredible he wasn't 5
the ones
years
that
ago.
don't take years to get.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please.
Je sais pas, vous avez qu'à lui dire si elle veut se ramener, mais je doute qu'elle viendra.
This is it, Stanley. your chance to redeem yourself,
Bon,
to
y a pas
put
autre
your
chose.
work aside, to let her back into your life.
Bon.
She's been waiting.
On va voir si t'attends pour le téléphone, si ça fait quelque chose ou pas. Et pendant ce temps, je vais chercher les
That's
fins
her,
sur
Stanley.
Google.
You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your
Ah.
faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Alors. Yeah, sure, you can, if you want to. You can. Ok, il y en aura une à la con. Je regarde les fins si jamais. Ok, hop. On va restart. Je trouvais des endings qu'on n'a pas fait, donc on va regarder tout ça.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
On va
Stanley
checker tout ça.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Sorry to break it to you, Stanley, but that lift isn't coming back. You'd best either get comfortable right here on this platform, or test your luck. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley left from the... Whoops. Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
Ok, bon, je l'ai un peu niqué, mais c'est pas grave.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started. And if it did, it stopped shortly after.
Il y en a une autre à Portal. Attendez, en fait il y en a une autre qui peut être plus drôle. The boss office. Quickly enter and leave the boss office. Ok. Donc on va
When
essayer
Stanley
celle-là.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ok, alors attendez. Et après je quitte. Ok, alors peut-être que la boss office c'est vraiment son bureau en lui-même. En fait, il faut que je rentre dans le bureau et que je ressorte direct.
Here's the door.
Voilà. Nickel. Nickel. Maintenant, je réussis à break le game. Et on a normalement obtenu une nouvelle fin maintenant. Voilà, exactement. Les portes sont ouvertes. Maintenant, toutes les portes sont ouvertes. On peut revenir en arrière. Et normalement, on devrait avoir une nouvelle porte qui s'est ouverte. Celle-là, on l'avait pas vue non plus. Hein. Il me semble pas. On va voir normalement. Ah, c'est donc cette porte-là. You are now leaving. Oh. C'est flippant, hein. Ok. Bon, on n'avait pas encore vu hein, cette fin là. On va voir ce que ça fait. Je sais pas ce qu'elle fait. Hein. Moi, j'ai juste regardé à peu près comment est-ce qu'on l'avait, mais j'ai pas voulu me spoiler sur qu'est-ce qu'elle faisait. Il y a encore moins d'étages. Et c'était le dernier, non? Non, c'était pas le dernier. Ah si. Ah? Qu'est-ce que c'est que ce truc? What the fuck? What? What the fuck is... Ok.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Ok.
What could it mean?
Bon. En fait,
Stanley
ce qui s'est
decided to go
passé,
to the
c'est que
meeting.
j'ai pas fait gaffe.
Perhaps he had simply
C'est
missed
qu'en
a
fait,
memo.
pour pouvoir s'échapper, on avait besoin de Stanley ainsi que du narrateur. Sauf que vu qu'on a du coup désactivé le narrateur avant, on pouvait pas s'enfuir. Ok, alors out of map, heaven ending. Oula. Oulolololo, celle-là elle va être galère. Bon. Oh putain, alors celle-là elle va être fun à avoir, attention hein. Oh putain de merde, alors. Ok. Ok, on va voir. On va essayer de trigger une nouvelle fin.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in,
Parce
that
que
he would never
rappelez-vous,
leave it
on avait...
again
Ah, peut-être
in
que
his
du coup, vu
life.
que je l'ai faite... Ok, et la prochaine, c'est le bureau 423. Ah. Ok, vous vous souvenez, les inputs de la dernière fois? Voilà, c'est comme ça. Ok, en fait, ça servait à ça, du coup, les inputs. Alors, hop, ça c'est fait. Maintenant, je restart le jeu à nouveau.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Putain, il
Perhaps
faut
he had
les,
simply
faut les
missed a
savoir,
memo.
ça, dis donc. Hein. Il y a des fins bien cachées dans le jeu. Il y a d'autres fins un peu alternatives aussi que je vous
When
montrerai
Stanley
après.
came to a set of two
Que je trouve
open
là.
doors, he entered the door on his left.
C'est vraiment des
Yet there
fins à
was
la
not a
con, un peu
single
dur à
person
avoir.
here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a
C'est
staircase,
fini
Stanley
votre
walked
triangle d'amour,
upstairs
enfin
to
votre
his
petit
boss's
amour là, les
office.
deux, Rock et Drist? Ils sont allés baiser à côté. Alors, voilà. Maintenant, c'est où le prochain PC? Non, non,
Someone was following Stanley.
non.
He was sure of it.
430.
If he checked over his
430,
shoulder
voilà.
now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Ok. Je reset à nouveau le jeu. Parce qu'en fait, il faut reset à chaque fois pour obtenir le truc. Et maintenant, sur mon PC. Et boum. Tada! Alors normalement, on est au paradis. We're currently in heaven, supposedly. Des boutons partout. Ah, c'est le paradis. C'est le paradis de Stanley. Des boutons. Des boutons partout. Bon, à part ça, voilà, c'est... Ça sert plus à rien, hein, si jamais. On peut rester là indéfiniment, ça changera rien. Ensuite... D'ailleurs, hop. On peut y retourner n'importe quand, hein, d'ailleurs, juste en appuyant ici. Alors, de Serious Ending. Ah merde, la Serious Ending, je peux pas vous la montrer. Parce qu'il faut utiliser la console. Attendez, à moins que je puisse... Je vais quitter le jeu et je vais essayer de lancer ce qu'il m'a demandé. Attendez, je vais voir si je peux le faire moi-même. Autoriser l'accès, oui. Je vais regarder si je peux taper ça moi-même vu que j'ai pas le jeu de manière légale. Et oui. J'aimerais, mais voilà. Je vais voir si j'arrive du coup à trigger le truc de mon côté. Parce que ça, c'est un truc où tu dois passer par la console directement et taper une commande en fait. Donc on va voir si je peux le faire moi-même. Putain. Stop laguer STP. Alors. Donc. Je vais dans les propriétés. Sinon, on va relancer le jeu. Hein. Mais je vais regarder du coup s'il y a moyen que je fasse ça. Je suis désolé, vous aurez un black screen pour le moment. Ah, fait chier. Bon bah écoutez, je ne peux malheureusement pas vous montrer cette fin. Parce que je sais pas comment ça marche sur le PC, si c'est même possible via PC, pour être franc. Donc voilà. Ah fantastique, ça m'a tout déréglé. Galactic Café. Ouais, c'est bon. Merde, bon bah c'est pas grave hein. Attends, c'était en mai la dernière fois qu'on l'a fait le jeu. Oh, et donc, c'est que ça date. Ok, celle-là laisse tomber. Je regarde le reste. Hein. Oh, attendez, on va essayer de la triggered. Parce que merde justement, quand c'était tout en bleu, il y avait une fin qu'on n'a pas pu avoir. Quand le truc était tout bleu. Donc on va essayer de l'avoir. Bon, on va essayer encore un peu, sinon on n'y arrive pas. Je vais vous montrer un dernier truc, après on aura à peu près tout vu. Et il faut que je réfléchisse à comment je vais parler de ce jeu dans la chronique. Mais bon, pour ça on pourra débattre sur le Discord de toute façon. Normalement, de toute façon on l'avait déjà vu. Ah, tu sais quoi, tant pis.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Ça me saoule.
What could it mean?
On va aller voir un tas des trucs, il y a un petit easter egg à la con, un petit truc petit truc marrant avec Portal. Donc on va retourner dans Portal.
Stanley came to a set of two open. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a... Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look. Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Let me boot it up.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game.
Trop tard.
All about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game
mais cette image de bébé
once you've been
random.
playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Eh, écoute, j'ai pas vu ton message, en fait c'était trop tard quand j'ai eu ton message.
Heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game is so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Ah ouais, non mais... Il change un petit peu, mais ouais.
Well, Stanley,
j'avoue pour la deuxième, il semble s'en battre les couilles.
At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete.
Oh, quel
I made it,
artiste.
Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
Waouh.
Isn't it
C'est
grand?
sublime.
Isn't it perfect?
Vraiment, mais...
It could only be
Wow.
better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Yeah, let's go. An adventure. Je sais pas si y a moyen qu'on break un peu le jeu, on va pas aller trop
Oh
vite.
my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Ah. Il y avait presque moyen. Par contre, du coup... Évidemment, il y avait rien de ce côté-là. Hein. C'est pour vous pour être vrai. Of course. Ouais, ça a été pensé pour que tu puisses aller nulle part en fait.
Oh, no, 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 no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more
passage
narrow
secret.
and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
La petite araignée de merde dans le coin là. On a entendu.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Oh,
Je l'ai cassé, je l'ai cassé, non.
Let's go find out
Non,
what the hell
mais je
this
l'ai
is.
cassé. Attends. Voilà. Non. Putain, c'est encore plus dur à foutre que dans le... Putain, dans le jeu de base, c'était plus simple. La physique est tellement broken.
It's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Alors à skip en fait tu peux le bloquer. Attends, je vais regarder comment tu fais parce qu'apparemment tu peux te bloquer en fait. Apparemment, on peut on peut faire passer le cube à travers la porte. Alors, je sais pas comment, mais on peut le faire passer à travers la porte. Je veux le faire passer à travers la porte. C'est ça, c'est ça. Non mais rentre. Putain. Des fois il rentre en fait, c'est ça qui est chiant. Et tu sais même pas comment tu fais pour le bloquer à travers la porte. Ou alors c'était peut-être pas cette porte là. Alors, apparemment on peut le bloquer à travers une porte. Through the door. Bon, je sais pas comment tu fais hein, honnêtement. Apparemment tu peux break le jeu comme ça en fait. Et c'est prévu par le jeu. en fait. C'est parce que le narrateur, justement, va se foutre de ta gueule si tu arrives à le faire. En mode, ah bah bravo, tu t'es niqué. T'es fier de toi, Jean-Mi?
Genius.
Genius. Peut-être comme ça. Rentre! De toute évidence, non. Ah, je suis sûr qu'il y a moyen de faire un truc du genre. Attends. Non mais comme par hasard, tu sais. C'est presque ça en fait. Hein. Non mais c'est... C'est de la merde. Oh, ça m'a saoulé. Tant pis. Bref, c'est chiant. Du coup, ouais, on va s'arrêter là. On a assez fait le con avec le bloc et tout. Et du coup, ouais, merci à tous d'avoir regardé, en espérant que ça vous a plu. Tout ça, tout ça. Tu connais la chanson, même tu sais. Hein, les mains et tu mets les mains dans les airs et tout, et ça ne veut rien dire. Bref, sur ce, oui, merci d'avoir regardé. C'est un écran noir. Bye, bisous.